welcome to the show. Today I'll be doing something different. This will be a quick video. It's basically showing how I process financial data. So I'm going to show how to obtain data from the SEC, download it, and process it. And I hope that by the end of this video you'll be inspired to process it yourself, or you'll know how to process it yourself, and you'll go off and try it. Okay. That's at least the intention of this video, is to educate and enlighten people how they can be their own, do their own analysis. So, newsflash, I own and use a Mac. I've seen some comments before that says, hey, you're using a Mac. It's like, well, yeah, I am. There's some reasons for that, and it's basically because the Mac has a lot of things going for it, with the fact that it is a Unix-based operating system, and I utilize that feature dramatically. So anyway, here are some key programs I use. The first one is a terminal. It's located in the to run the terminal. You go to the applications folder. Scroll down, you'll see the utilities folder, and then in the utilities folder, there's a program called Terminal. It's very useful. Another program that I'll be using is Numbers. Basically, it takes tabular data or table-based data and makes plots of them. So Numbers does a fairly good job with that, and it's good enough for a lot of what you need to do. Third program I used is TextEdit. It's a very fast program that can be used to edit text, basically. Alternatively, you can use a program called BBEdit. It's a much better text editor than TextEdit. It's got syntax highlighting and line numbers and a whole bunch of nice features that I quite enjoy and I think is excellent. You can download BBEdit from the Bare Bones website, and their motto is "It doesn't suck," and it's actually quite excellent. Actually, they have a free mode and a licensed mode, and for just about everything that I need, the free mode is more than good enough. The licensed mode gives you access to things like HTML editing and helps you to write HTML. It will help you process commands better and all that. But the free mode is so much better than TextEdit. I would recommend using the free mode of BBEdit over TextEdit. In either case, it's all up to you. So the first place you should be aware of is SEC FOIA data. So they have the failures to deliver under the FOIA section. FOIA docs fails data HTM. I'll provide a link to this, and you can poke around and check out what else they got. If you scroll down on that web page, you'll see that they actually list what the format of their data is. They give you field name, field description, field size. It's pretty good. It's pretty decent. And then they've got the data itself. The data is in data downloads. One for there's two pieces of data for each month. So you get updates twice a month, basically, and it goes on for years. So you've got tons of data here. The data is zipped up in zip format, of course, or the data is compressed in zip format. So it'll expand out on your hard drive once you've downloaded it. So if you were to look at the data after it's expanded, you'll see that it looks like this. It's just ASCII data, and there's a bunch of it starts off with the settlement date, then it's got the CUSIP number, and the symbol. As you can see, they've got tons of different symbols. This is all the failures in the first half of the month, right? So there's a ton of data here, right? Lots and lots of data. So because there's a ton of data, I'd like to filter out the stuff we don't care about. So we're going to use Terminal, and Terminal is a way to access the Unix part of the Macintosh, right? So We're using terminal because Unix has some really good commands that you can use to process textual data. And essentially, this is an outline of what we're going to do. There are basically 6 steps, really. The first step is that well, I'll just go over them as we go. But this is a rough outline of what we're going to do, right? The last step, we're going to clean up and delete a bunch of temporary files that we create along the way. Okay? So, step 1 and step 2. So step 1 is we're going to create a temporary output file, which has the proper header information. And we're going to do that with the head command, HEAD -1. So what head -1 does is it prints out the header, and it just prints out the first line. We're going to go to the exact, we're going to go to any of the files that we've downloaded because all the headers are the same. In this case, we'll just go so all the files that we downloaded, we put into a cns_fails_from_sec directory. And just randomly, the first file that we have in there is cnsfails 2021-01a.txt. You can use any file, right? So we do a head -1 of that particular file, and we redirect it to another file. So we redirect the output to temp_out.txt. So that's the first command. The second command is grep, and what that does is now we have a file that's created called temp_out, but all it has is a header information, right? So we'd like to fill that up with the stock information, but we only want to fill it up with the stock information for the stock we're interested in, right? So we're going to use a grep command. The grep stands for Global Regular Expression. It's a very powerful command. It's available on Unix systems, and it lets you search through files that you specify for a particular text pattern, and then it prints the line that text pattern is on. So in this case, we're going to look for the pattern bar GME bar, right? And that pattern should indicate a GameStop, right? So GME is a symbol for GameStop. So we're going to look for everything that has a symbol for GameStop in it. So we're going to do a grep.h of quote bar GME bar quote, and that will search for the GameStop pattern. And we're going to look in the cns_fails_from_sec directory, and we're going to look for all the files there. So we just specify the directory /*. So that's going to look in all the files, and we want to redirect the output from that command to our temporary file that we created, temp_out, right? So we're going to use the greater than sign, right? What that does is that appends to the end of the file. So anytime we find something, we're going to append that to the end of the file, and that is actually going to create all the data that we're interested in. That's going to actually get the GameStop data for failures to deliver. So that's the grep command, right? Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a safety kind of a thing. So we're going to prepare to make a CSV file. CSV stands for comma separated value. So the delimiter will be a comma, right? And so if there are commas in the data already, we want to remove those commas because those commas are going to be special later on. They're going to delimit the fields. So we're going to use the sed command. Sed stands for stream editor. And when you type sed space -e, that means evaluate that expression that we're going to do. And the expression that we're going to provide is a substitution pattern. So it's going to substitute and find all occurrences of comma and replace it with nothing, which is emptiness, right? So to do that, the regular expression that would actually do that is quote s for substitute / the character that you want to find. In this case, it's comma. So s / comma / that indicates that that's the end of the string that you want to find, right? And then we're going to have another forward slash. So there's nothing between the two forward slashes at the end, which indicates nothingness, right? There's no characters there. So it's going to replace the comma with nothing, and we want to do that globally, G. So we want to do that across all possible occurrences. Okay, and we're going to take as our input the temp_out file that we just created, and we're going to redirect the output to temp_out2. Okay, so that's step 3. Okay, step 4 is the command to convert the delimiter from a bar to a comma. Again, we use a sed command, stream editor. In this case, we're going to do a substitute the bar with a comma, and you can see how to do that with the s/bar/comma/g, right? It's the same as before. The only thing that we're substituting now is a bar for a comma. So that's the 4th command. Now we've got a CSV file, because we redirect, we take the input file of temp_out2.txt, and at that point we redirected the output to temp_out3a.csv, right? That puts the result to an output file called temp_out3a.csv. We're almost done. Okay. The next step, since we've now created our CSV file, the next step is to actually convert the date format into something usable. Now, at this point, our substitution looks kind of crazy. If you look at that, it's like, what is that? I mean, geez. It's actually understandable if we look at it in detail. So let's just break it down. I'm actually going to skip to the next slide and show you how the breakdown of that works. Okay. So our substitution command here, or our substitution pattern, is S stands for substitute, right? Then you've got the 2 slashes, and our search pattern, the pattern that we're trying to find, is going to match the beginning of the line. That's a caret pattern, right? Then we're going to match all characters between 0 and 9. That's going to be all numeric characters, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're going to look for 4 repeating patterns of that 0 through 9 number. So we're going to look for basically 4 numbers. And anytime we see 4 numbers, we're going to substitute that with whatever we found plus a dash. And we're going to do that globally. Okay. So if we look, that's the command that we have over here. And then we take the output, we take the input from temp_out3a.txt, and we send the output to temp_out3b. So at the end of that, what we'll have is the format YYY changed to YYY dash. Okay, so there'll be a dash after the first 3 numbers of the year. After the first 4 numbers of the year. Okay. The next thing we do is we do the same pattern again, except this time we're going to look for a slightly more complex pattern. We're going to look for the start of the line with 4 numbers and a dash, followed by 2 numbers, right? So we got, and we're going to replace that with whatever those 2 numbers are. We're going to replace that with whatever we found and a dash, right? So now we'll have 2 dashes in there, and that will convert it into YYY-M to YYY-MM dash, and then the day will be the last number, so we don't have to worry about the day. So that's our substitution right then and there. At that point, we will, we will have the date formatted correctly. And finally, we've got all these temp files, so we're going to delete all the temp files we created along the way. And that's it. That's how that works. Right? So I don't like to have to deal with all of these, all of these, remembering these commands and figuring out substitution patterns all the time. So I put the whole thing into a text script, and we just run the script anytime I want. So here's the actual script that I created. I actually added some more features into the script. I had a printout of what the syntax looks like. I say what the command is, and I even give an example command line. Right? So, but later on you can see exactly step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see how the script works. I just made it a little bit nicer, right? So there you go. That's the basic that's the basic way that I do it, right? So let's look at a quick demo here. So one other thing, the file needs to be given permission to execute. So that's what the chmod command does. Chmod 777 says basically execute. And then we're so as you can see, you've got read, write, execute permission on the filter _ ftds.csh command. So let's try to run it. Let's see what happens. Okay, that was a little bit quick. So according to my script that I have, if you don't give it any commands, it actually prints out how to use it. It gives you some information. It talks about it talks about what the script does, and then it gives you an example at the end. So let's run a variant of that example. So I'm just going to copy that example over, and we'll do a paste, and then instead of looking for a symbol TRCH, we're going to look for the symbol GME. So let's look for GameStop, and we'll give the output file name. We'll call it GME _ FTDs _ 2021.csv. Okay. So just run it. It runs pretty quickly, as you can see. We got a 15K output file. So there we go. So let's see what that looks like. If we look at it in numbers, you just double-click the CSV file. It opens it up in numbers on a Mac. You can scroll down. You can see you got GameStop all over the place. You got the quantity fails in the appropriate column, and this is all just GameStop data. So great. So what we can do then is we can take column D, make a chart. Let's make a 2D bar chart out of it. Bam, there you go. You got all the data. I'll just make it a little bit bigger so we can see, and it looks a little bit nicer. Let's just make that a little bit nicer again. So so this way we can see more stuff. Now the x-axis looks to be overloaded, and we can't tell what's going on here. So let's make that be vertical so that we can see more on the x-axis. There you go. Bam! You got the dates. You can see what the bars look like. You can see what the failures to deliver look like. And as you can see, we had a ton of fails all the way up until the end of January, and then suddenly, for some reason, the number of fails dropped off. And it's because the hedge funds basically found a different way to hide their fails. Anyway, the fails dropped off. We'll explain why that happened later. I do not believe they covered, by the way. Anyway, so I showed you how to do this on a Mac. If you have a Linux workstation, you can use Linux as well too. If you're running Windows, you can do it. You can run a virtual machine inside Windows to run Linux, and then do it from Linux in the virtual machine there. Alternatively, from Windows, you can install something called Cygwin, which is basically just Unix Lite. I think of as for Windows, right? So you can run Unix commands on Windows. This is just how I did it with with Unix commands. You could also install a program called MATLAB. MATLAB is great at processing data and displaying graphs and all that. They do a great job with that, and they're cross-platform and available everywhere as well too. Anyway, so this is just how I do it. As you can see, it's not that hard. I will make the script available at some. Once I figure out how to upload a script, I'll probably put it on Git or something like that. But I'll make a script available. You guys can download it, use it, do whatever you want with it, modify it. It's not hard. I encourage everyone to try it, do it yourself, and have fun with it. Have fun with it. Just process your own financial data. Anyway, that's it. That's it for this video. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope I've inspired you. Bye. Quick addendum: I've uploaded the script over to GitHub. Go to the link provided, click on code, download zip, and then you should be good to go. Okay, that's it. Goodbye. Have fun.